Hey guys, Barman here, and welcome to episode 4 of Battlefield 3 for Beginners. Focus of this episode is accuracy, and in particular, physical accuracy. Okay, so accuracy. It's obviously being accurate with your weapon is quite an important, has quite a bit to say about how successful you're going to be in gunplay. Clearly, if you're more accurate than the guy firing at you, you've got a much better chance of taking him down than he does you. So it's quite an important topic, and there's three key elements. One's the physical accuracy, and that's really where you as a player are actually aiming. So using your controller or your mouse or whatever you're using to aim the gun. There's recoil, so the behaviour of the gun when you fire it, depending on the a number of different factors, I guess. But obviously, when you fire bullets, they trigger recoil in the gun, and so there's a number of important factors around that. And spread, and really, I guess that's about how well the bullets are actually following where you're specifically aiming. It's an interesting concept in the Battlefield series. So this episode, we're really going to focus on physical accuracy. There's quite a bit to talk about each of these three topics, so we'll do a separate episode on each. And so let's get started on physical accuracy. Okay, so when we're talking about physical accuracy, what we're really talking about is where you as a player are actually aiming your rifle. There's a number of different things that I guess that have an impact to that. I mean, one is the input device. So, I mean, when you're playing console, you've got, I guess I'm playing on the Xbox, so I've got the Xbox controller. PS3, they've got their own controller, and normally on the PC, you're using a mouse. And clearly with a mouse, you're going to get a lot better physical accuracy. I mean, you've got an analog stick here, which I'm using on the Xbox. You can, I guess, point it where you want to point it, but you really can't get that sort of micro detail that you can with a mouse, which shifting millimeter by millimeter. It's much more difficult to do that on analog sticks. So I guess the flip side of that is everyone else that you're playing against is the same disadvantage or advantage. So if you're playing on Xbox, everyone else is playing with the same type of controller. So it's not so much a big deal in terms of when you're competing against other players, but it's just I guess an absolute factor in terms of your control of where you aim. Another key one is the sensitivity of your controller. So on each of the different installations, you can actually alter the sensitivity. So one of the things I guess originally was trying to do was actually up my sensitivity, because the higher the sensitivity, the more reactive it's going to be. So, I mean, this is on a reasonably low sensitivity, and if I just want to do a 360, that takes an amount of time. But if you up your sensitivity, let's just jump in there and do that now. Oop, don't want to commit suicide. So you can see, the sensitivity there, it's probably a little less than half. But if I bump that, let's bump that all the way up. And you can see there, trying to do a 360 with that sensitivity, it's much quicker. So, originally I was, I guess, under the impression that, it's great to have this super sensitivity because you can whip around and shoot people, and, no one can get you, sneak up behind you. And I think, some players, I think, maybe if they're incredibly dexterous, that's a good thing for them. But I think I find to be more accurate, and it's something I've learned perhaps more recently, is to dial down that sensitivity. So I would actually put sensitivity as low as you can, as you can comfortably play the game with. Take that for example. So if if I'm trying to point at that top box there, okay, so I'm looking at the box there. If I'm over here and I want to look at that box, I've got to kind of really do these kind of micro adjustments. And aim assist on the console is going to help a little bit with that when you're aiming at other players. But you can see if I'm there and I want to spin around, it's super sensitive, and it's really difficult to get that accurate crosshairs onto that box. But if I let's just bump the sensitivity back. Let's just perhaps dial it back to, I think that's about where it was. Okay, so now we'll do the 360 test again. You can see that takes a lot longer. So sensitivity will have an impact on how quickly you're able to spin around and respond to things that are happening perhaps not directly in front of you. But if I want to aim at that box now, I'm not kind of like spinning past it like I was before. I've got heaps more, I guess, a much higher ability to be able to do those micro adjustments that can mean a lot when you're in a gun battle. I mean, if you picture that as someone's head, and you want to go for the headshot because you get that headshot multiplier, and you're facing over here and you come on, you're trying to focus on that player. Okay, I'm still doing some micro adjustments there, but it's nothing like that. The other sensitivity where I was before. So I guess that's sensitivity. So I suggest, as I suggested, I think I'd dial down sensitivity rather than dial up. And just, everyone's going to have their own different comfort factors, and I think, clearly different controllers are going to respond differently between Xbox and PS3, and also, with the mouse settings. And, I've seen some of the, I won't call them pro players, but people that are playing in competitive leagues, they tend to have their mouse accuracy way low, and they have quite large mouse pads to compensate, so they can still turn around if they need to without running out of table space. So I touched a little bit on the aim assist, and that's a console only feature. Essentially what that means is if you've got an opposition player who's coming towards you, and say he's coming in that little gap there between these two doors, and I'm kind of focused over here, I can kind of move my my aim towards that area to watch that player come in. If I aim down the scope, the aim assist is actually going to help with focusing a little bit on that player, so it's actually going to shift your aim a little bit towards that player, and it's just, I guess, the developers DICE just trying to compensate for the fact that it's very hard to get highly accurate with the console controllers. So certainly take advantage of that. So you see a lot of players might like to fire from the hip or whatever. You won't get the same benefit from that aim assist. I think you do still get some benefit from aim assist with hip fire, but certainly not the same as when you're aiming down the scope like that. Probably, I guess, we talked about different controllers and the sensitivity, also aim assist. Well, the only other factor there that's going to be a factor on how accurate you want to be is the actual scope that you have. So I've got the Russian Cobra, which is the Russian equivalent of the red dot sight. Quite like this sight because there's it really doesn't block much of your screen at all, so it's got quite a thin rim around it. And I kind of like that little T there. I think it really helps me with my aiming. But if I'm wanting to hit that, the C there on that crate, I can get a fair degree of confidence that if I shoot off that bullet there, or a couple of bullets there, that I'm actually going to to get on target. But if I have a higher degree of magnification on my scope, that's going to be obviously a lot easier to do. So why don't I just kill myself there, and we'll spawn back in. Okay, so I've spawned back in. I've got the same weapon. I've got the AK here with a 7x scope. It might be a little bit ridiculous, but it's more just, I guess, to demonstrate the different scopes. Clearly, they're going to impact on your physical aim. So we're roughly the same spot, and we're looking at that crate again, and we want to hit the C. So if we look at the 7x scope, clearly that's going to be a much easier way to to focus in on distant targets. So, that's the other factor that can you can see my scope sway there affects it quite a bit, but that's clearly the other factor that affects your physical aim. So that just about wraps it up for this episode. Really, just to summarise again, I guess you've got different controller types, which obviously you're not really going to have much to be able to do, or not going to modify too much as you're playing the game. You take the controller or the mouse, depending on what version of the game you have. Sensitivity is one thing you do have a lot of control over, and I think I'd encourage you to experiment a little bit with that to find the sweet spot between being, I guess, highly accurate with being able to make micro adjustments with your aim, but also being able to quickly respond to what's happening around you in the environment. Aim assist, we just touched on that just to perhaps explain how that can affect your physical aim and the different scopes. So the higher the magnification, the more easy it is going to have an accurate physical aim on distant targets. So as usual, please provide feedback, and I'd appreciate a like or a favourite, and subscribe if you're interested in more of this. Thank you.